Dear Aries, have you ever felt like someone was standing behind you, watching you in silence, not to harm you, but to awaken you? Last night, I dreamed of a tall man wearing a dark cloak. He stepped slowly through the threshold of a strange house. That house smelled of old wood, and his footsteps were heavy, deliberate. But when he turned his face toward me, I froze, because that house was your house, Aries. Not everyone dreams such dreams. Not everyone is visited by him. But if you are hearing these words now, it means the time has come. In this video, I will reveal to you 3 signs that the tall man has arrived. Not to warn you, but to unlock the greatest mission of your life. Aries, write this beneath the video. I am ready to step into my sacred destiny. A comment is not just a declaration. It is a signal sent to the universe that your soul is ready. If these words made your spine shiver, if your heart just trembled without knowing why, share this video so the light of Aries reaches the exact place it's meant to. You were not born to follow. You were born to pioneer. To me, there is no clearer symbol of divine genesis than Aries. Not because they are strong, but because they carry the courage to begin when no one else dares to take the first step. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Their soul enters this world with a mark of leadership, carrying a flame, not to shine only for themselves, but to light the way for others who have not yet dared to speak. Mars, Aries' ruling planet, is not just a symbol of action and willpower. It is the first whisper from God spoken into the ears of brave souls. You shall go first, and do not be afraid, even if no one has ever walked that path before. Perhaps you've been called impulsive, hot-headed, impatient, but that's only the world's judgment of a soul carrying a fire that hasn't yet been given permission to speak its name. I've met many people with Aries prominent in their birth chart. They charge into life like waves of fire, constantly moving, constantly doing. But what breaks my heart is not their exhaustion. It's the fact that somewhere along the way, they forget themselves. They think they are chasing success, chasing validation, chasing love, but truly, they are searching for their own soul. Have you ever wondered, why are you always the initiator? Why are you always the first to speak? The one who repairs what no one else dares to touch? You think it's a duty, but in truth, it's a soul contract. You agreed with God before you came to this world that you would be the keeper of the flame, and you have kept it, even when it burned you. Not everyone is entrusted with the flame, because not everyone can bear the weight of forging a path where there is none. Aries doesn't just have the power to go first. They have the courage to carry the responsibility of their own light. You see, some are given power, and they use it to control, but only the souls who have once been wounded, who have stood alone in the dark, know how to carry the flame without burning others, and that is why God chose you. Don't confuse action with recklessness. A true Aries doesn't act from emotion, but from intuition. They are driven by a voice from deep within, a voice they sometimes cannot even explain. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be honest with the voice inside you. Have you ever felt that, as if something is waiting for you? Not ahead, but within. Write this beneath the video. I am ready to live with the true fire within me. A comment is not just a declaration. It is an invitation, a signal for divine energies to begin moving around you. I once knew an Aries woman. She was bold. She spoke her truth. She stepped forward. She loved with all her being. But then, there came a time when she went silent. I asked her, "Why aren't you like you were before?" And she answered, "I don't want to be hated anymore. I don't want people to fear my fire anymore." That sentence haunted me because so many Aries have lost their sacred flame just to be accepted. There are Aries who have dimmed their light, not because they feared failure, but because they feared their own brightness. But light, once entrusted, will always find a way to be seen. You don't need permission to shine. You just need to remember you are the light. Remember this when you go silent. The world loses part of its light when you stop acting. Other souls may not find the path to follow. Aries was not made to wait. You were made to ignite, to awaken, to carry the torch, and clear the way. If you're in a phase where everything feels stalled, if you feel unseen, perhaps you're not on the wrong path, perhaps you're just ahead of everyone else. And that is why you feel alone. But the strange thing is, he came to you, the tall man in your dream, didn't knock with sound, but with energy. He wore no armor, carried no weapons, but his eyes held an entire lost dynasty, an ancient memory buried in your soul. He didn't ask if you were ready, because he knew you already promised. promised to keep the fire, even when it burns you. He came to return a piece of sacred memory that you once dropped when you were very small, and if you are brave enough to accept it, then in the next part, I will tell you why that man did not come from this world but from another soul frequency. Do not forget to write, I am ready to carry the flame God gave me. And if you know an Aries who is on the verge of forgetting who they are, share this video with them, because when one lamp goes out, a whole world loses its light. You might think he was just a dream, a fleeting image that appeared in that moment between sleep and waking. But souls marked by divine mission do not dream by accident. Not everyone sees him. Not everyone senses the presence of a being from another frequency. In astrology, the 12th house is the final room where everything ends so it can begin again. It holds unresolved pasts, unnamed dreams, and souls yet to be set free. And right now, Aries is under the deep influence of Saturn, the planet of soul responsibility, forming a square with the moon, stirring every memory you thought was buried. If lately you've dreamt of unfamiliar faces, strange houses you've never entered, eyes that seem to speak, but say nothing, don't dismiss it. That's not imagination. It is your soul memory being unlocked. He said nothing, but that gaze, it made you remember what you once promised God when you were still on the other side of the soul's veil. Maybe you've met someone in this life, just once, but they left you with a feeling you couldn't explain, a vague familiarity, a quiet ache in your chest, as if you had known them in another lifetime. The tall man is like that. He doesn't need to speak, doesn't need to do anything. He just appears at the right moment, and your soul will instinctively recall the part of you it had once forgotten. I want you to ask yourself, have I seen him in a dream? Have I ever felt a distant but close gaze watching over me when I was weak? If the answer is yes, then this next part is for you. I used to think Aries acted on instinct, but then I realized it was an unconscious reaction. It was the soul's response to a calling from an invisible presence. Aries may not remember his name, may not recognize his face, but inside, there is always something stirring, urging them to act, to change, to protect something greater than themselves. And now, he has returned, not to control you, but to awaken the courage that has been sleeping inside you. Maybe when you were a child, you stood alone in the dark and felt a comforting presence. Maybe when you were on the verge of collapse, you heard a soft whisper, keep going, you promised, remember? Not every encounter is a lifelong destiny. Some people, some souls, come only to awaken you, then leave. And it's their leaving that transforms you into the version of yourself you were always meant to become. Don't be sad if he doesn't stay. Don't try to hold on, because souls from that frequency do not belong to the material world. They only appear when you are ready to receive the sacred gift you once dropped. You don't need to remember him with your mind. You've already remembered him with your heart. One day, as you sit quietly, looking out the window at dusk, and your heart tightens, not out of sorrow, but from an unspoken memory, that is the moment your soul has just stepped through a doorway. The tall man doesn't knock. He does not arrive with noise. He walks through a door that was never locked, resting right between the two beats of your heart. Dear Aries, have you ever felt as if someone was guiding you, but you couldn't name them? As if an invisible hand rested on your shoulder every time you were about to give up. That is not your imagination. That is a soul bond that has never been broken. If you have ever dreamed of a stranger, and the feeling was so hauntingly familiar, write this beneath the video, I remember him, because that comment is a confirmation, a key to unlock a knowledge your brain cannot reach, but your soul has always known. The square between Saturn and the moon in Aries' current chart is a calling to return. It forces you to face what you've suppressed. It reopens the door to past life memories where you once chose the path of the warrior, not for glory, but for a promise. This is the moment you will begin to remember, what have I lost before? What did I once vow to protect, even if no one believed me? And he, the tall man, the one who stepped into your home in the dream, he appears only when you are ready to rise again, no longer as your former self. The soul never forgets. It only waits for the right moment to remember. In the next part, I will guide you into a secret. The 11th gate is opening, and only Aries, with the true flame, can step through it. But first, you must answer this. Are you ready to remember what you promised before you were born? Write this beneath the video. I am ready to step through the gate of destiny. Because that sentence is the first key to unlock the sacred door that belongs only to your soul. If this part has stirred something deep inside you, share this video with those who are also trying to find their way back to themselves. Because perhaps that tall man is also searching for them. There are moments you thought were coincidences. A phone call at just the right time, a door opening when you weren't even trying, a whisper in your chest that you didn't know where it came from. But when you pause and listen, you realize that wasn't coincidence. That was the moment you were called by name. In astrology, the 11th house is the house of soul connections, of community, of great dreams, of the things you were born to contribute to an entire generation. When the sun shines into Aries' 11th house, it is more than light. It is a doorway to your higher calling, and only those who have walked through the hallway of darkness are brave enough to enter. You may have spent your whole life waiting for someone to come give you an opportunity. But now you know. You are the opportunity the world has been waiting for. It is not a physical door. It has no handle, no lock. It only appears when you stop searching and begin returning. I once believed that destiny was a dazzling destination, but in truth, it is the moment you stop chasing approval, stop trying to be enough, and for the first time, you become yourself. No more proving, no more striving, just presence. And in that moment, the 11th gate opens. Quietly but sacred, like a baptism of the soul, many live their whole lives in fatigue, without knowing why. But for Aries, the deepest pain is not failure. It is knowing you were born to do something great, but you cannot yet name it. When you step into the 11th gate, that is when you stop doubting yourself and you begin to believe, I don't have to be like anyone else. I just need to become myself fully and completely. In the light of the 11th house, you are no longer a lone warrior. You are the leader of a journey of light, where other souls are waiting for you to ignite their fire. You thought you didn't matter, but your presence is the beginning of an awakening you cannot even imagine. You are not the one searching for opportunity. You are the one opportunity is waiting to meet. Aries often carries a loneliness they cannot name. They are always ahead, always in motion, but sometimes they get tired and they ask themselves, who will come for me if I collapse? The answer, painful but profound, is this: you. Only when you are strong enough to lift yourself up will you be strong enough to lift a world with the light you carry. When the 11th gate opens, the first thing you feel is not glory. It is a deep, relieving breath, as if your soul has finally found where it belongs. No more striving, no more needing to prove, just presence is enough. You no longer ask, what do I need to do to be chosen? You say, I have already been chosen, and now I am ready to enter. If you feel something inside you calling you and you can't explain it, write this beneath the video. I have stepped through the 11th gate of my life, because that comment is more than a message. It is a soul ritual. Confirmation that you are ready to hold the role the universe gave you. Before you were born, the light of the sun, shining into the 11th house, is like a lantern, illuminating the path. Who are you meant to connect with? Where does your mission truly lie? What have you been called to serve? That is greater than yourself. The power of the 11th house turns dreams into something real. No longer a fantasy, but a serious invitation from heaven. You cannot keep living a small life if your soul was designed to bring transformation to many. If you are reading these words, you did not come here to be a spectator in your life. You came to be the light and open the way. Maybe you've trembled before. Maybe you've rejected yourself. Maybe you lived under a name the world gave you. But the 11th gate doesn't ask who you used to be. It only asks, are you willing to live true from this moment forward? And if you're brave enough to say yes, you do not just step through a door. You become the door through which others step into their destiny. And now, as you walk through the 11th gate, something begins to stir. Your soul's gift starts to speak. No longer just vague ideas, no longer unnamed emotions. It begins to show itself like a gift, waiting to be touched. In the next part, I will guide you through why Aries' soul gift is unlike any other, and why, if you do not awaken it, the world may lose a miracle it was destined to receive. Write this right now. I am ready to live fully with the gift my soul carries. And if you know someone who's also standing before their own gate of destiny, share this video with them, because maybe they're waiting for you to go first so they can find the courage to follow. You didn't come here to be led, you came to be the first flame. Some souls enter this world like a passing breeze, but Aries, you arrived like fire, a fire that may be misunderstood, feared, but never extinguished, because it doesn't come from rage. It comes from deep within the heart, from the place where life begins. where light is born, where creation first spoke. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac wheel, and the first house, which governs identity, origin, and bold emergence, will always belong to you. In your birth chart, the first house isn't just a starting point, it is your soul's declaration. I am here, I begin, I act, not because I know what lies ahead, but because I was born to open the way. No one understands themselves more deeply than the soul of a birth warrior. Because you never waited for someone else to clear the path, you were the one who first set foot on untouched ground. Your soul's gift is not something you learned in school. It doesn't come from a degree or a certificate. It is a sacred memory you carried from beyond the veil, but this world made you forget. Maybe they labeled you as impulsive, but deep inside you, there's a flame waiting to be lit by your true calling. Maybe they scolded you for speaking too quickly, acting too fast, but underneath that urgency is a soul that cannot stand still. While knowing it was born to shift the world, you think you're rushing, but in truth, you're right on time. You don't carry your gift to compare it with anyone, you carry it to become the first signal of a new era. There is one great paradox. The world says it wants courage, but it keeps trying to extinguish those who dare to be different. And Aries, you are one of the few souls who moved forward even through the fear of being misunderstood. A flame can be forgot, but it is never extinguished. I know. There were moments when you doubted yourself, when you pulled back, when you hid your light, simply because others felt you were too much, but you were not born to make everyone comfortable. You were born to awaken what's been sleeping in other souls. You are the gentle alarm, the first bell, the first light in a darkness that didn't yet know it was about to be illuminated. You don't need permission to shine. You only need the courage to remember that you are the light. If you've ever felt misunderstood for being too fast, too strong, too direct, write this beneath the video. I am ready to live with the gift God placed within me. That comment is not just a declaration. It is a summoning, a call from your soul to the higher realms of light. And if you think that this is the end, it isn't, because the tall man has not yet left. He is standing at the edge of the light, waiting for you to come closer, because in his hands is one final message. A message meant only for the souls brave enough to walk all the way into their own light. In the next part, I will reveal what that final message is and why it holds the power to change the entire course of your destiny if you are ready to receive it. Stay with me, because the light within you is about to be named in a way that you will never be able to turn away from again. You think the journey is over. No, it's only just begun when the tall man looks at you. One last time, his gaze is no longer that of a watcher. It is the gaze of someone who has passed on the mission. And in that moment, your soul trembles, not from fear, but because you've just remembered something sacred. Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, is now casting a direct light onto Aries. This is no longer the time of preparation. This is the time of soul transformation. If lately the things you once knew have begun to fall apart, if relationships, careers, or beliefs you once held firm now feel loose, do not assume you've lost your way. You haven't. You're being called home. There is a flame that only you can light, and if you do not light it, the darkness will last an entire generation longer. No one else can live your life for you. No one else can awaken what's sacred and sleeping inside you. That man left nothing behind but a final look, because he knew you had crossed doubt. You had moved through fear. You had endured enough to now stand in the place your soul once promised to God. You are the miracle that heaven sent into this world. You are not the one waiting for a miracle. You are the miracle that God sent to this world. Read that again slowly and feel what just stirred inside your chest. If there's a subtle ache in your heart, that means your soul has just been confirmed. You no longer need anyone's permission. You don't need any other condition. You are already ready as long as you dare to admit it. If this video has touched your heart, if the light within you has just been rekindled, write this beneath the video. I am ready to fully live the mission God gave me. Because that sentence is a declaration of your soul's divine authority. And if you know another Aries who is tired, who has forgotten who they truly are, share this video with them, because perhaps they are waiting for you to awaken the light inside them. The tall man hasn't disappeared. He simply dissolved into the light because his role is complete. Now, you are the one who holds the torch. You don't need to go far anymore, because the final destination of this journey is you. If you have made it to the final moment of this path, I want you to know this. Not everyone is brave enough to listen to the voice of their soul. Not everyone is awake enough to see the 11th gate, and not everyone loves themselves enough to step through it. But you did. You faced the truth. You did not run when the memory of your soul came knocking. You listened when the tall man sent his silent message. And because of that, I want to tell you all the sacred gratitude I hold. Thank you for not giving up on yourself, for stepping into your destiny instead of running from it, for becoming the flame in a world far too familiar with darkness. If what you've just experienced in this video has touched your heart, if you feel as if your soul has just been awakened, write this beneath the video. I am the flame, I am the path, I am the one who was chosen. And I now remember that I was never alone. In my own house, your comment is not just a digital trace, it is a soul declaration, a summoning of light. And if you know that someone out there needs to be awakened too, share this video with them, because sometimes all it takes is a single gaze, a single sentence, a single video to change the destiny of a soul that has long been asleep. Keep the fire in your heart. And if someday you feel tired, confused, or forget the light within you, come back here and remind yourself, I am the flame, I am the path, I am the one who was chosen. I have returned and I am no longer alone.